Let's practice factoring our trinomials that have a coefficient of 1, because in the next video you're going to see what you have to do when you have a number in front of this leading term. But let's get this one under our belt first. Pause the video and do this problem. Here's an example of what those problems would look like. And you can notice that now we have the coefficients of 2 or 3 in our front position. And so that's going to make us think just ever so slightly differently about these binomials that we need to create. So we still use the two parentheses. The difference now is I can't just throw down an x here and an x there. Because remember, when I multiply these two together, my first terms, I need to get 2x squared as a result. Well, the only way that can happen is if I put a 2x down and an x. Again, the position of these don't matter. You could reverse them. But you can see now, when I multiply a 2x times an x, that I'm going to get 2x squared. Well, remember in the previous video how we would try to find these numbers. And we would say we just need factors of 2 that when multiplied give you 2, but when added give you a -5. But we can't really ask that question anymore because this first term of a 2x is going to mess up with our inner and outers. And so sadly, the only way we can really do this and remember it is to guess and check. There are shortcuts on the internet that you could look up and research. There's different ones. The problem is you're not going to remember them. So I like to just guess and check. There's still a little logic at play here, and that is I really only have one set of factors for 2, and that would be 2 times 1. The question is where do those numbers go? Well, I'm just going to guess and I'm going to put a 2 and a 1 there. Now you could use your shortcut rules. You see that you have a plus sign here, and remember that tells you that your signs are going to be the same, and that will tell you that they'll both be minus, but you certainly don't need to memorize that. It's just if you like using it. In fact, though, when I take my red factors, a -2 times a -1, you get your +2. The question is, did I put them in the right spot? So let's use FOIL and check it. When I multiply my first terms, I get 2x times x. Well, that's 2x squared. My outer terms give me a -2x. My inner terms give me a -2x. And my last term gives me a +2. Well, when I combine my middle terms, it's all about the middle terms because I need to get that -5x out of it. You can see that all I get is a -4x. And so that tells us that our numbers are in the wrong spot. And so we need to start over and guess again. Now you only have one option because there aren't multiple factors of 2. I need to switch my 2 and my 1 around. And there I just switched them. So now we're going to FOIL and check again, and this is why it's important to have an eraser in math class. So I have 2x times x gives me 2x squared. My outer terms give me a -4x. My inner terms give me a -1x, and my last term gives me the 2x. You can see once again that your inner and outer terms produce your middle term of the trinomial. And because it is a -5x, you have found your terms in the right combination, and thus you have found the answer of this factored trinomial. And you're done. Let's try one more. And again, you need to get comfortable with it. All we can do is guess and check it. 3x squared thankfully only has one set of factors, and that would be a 3x and a 1x. So I need to find the factors that when multiplied give me a -6. Now I have no idea what it is. I'm just guessing right now, and I'm going to go with 6 and 1. I'm going to put a 6 here and I'm going to put a 1 there. And I really don't know about my signs either, so you can guess those as well. So let's see if I got it right. 3x times x is 3x squared. My outer terms give me a negative 3x. My inner terms give me a negative 6x, and my last terms give me a positive 6. Do my middle terms give me a negative 7x? No, they give me a negative 9x. So you know that you did not pick the right combination. You could try switching them, so I will. I'll put a 6 over here and a 1 over there. Try it again. 3x squared, when I multiply my first, my outer gives me a negative, 18x. You're going to start to see logically that when your numbers become that big, there's no way I'm getting a 7 out of that. And so I can see right here I have a negative 19x. So I know 6 and 1 were the wrong set of factors. Well, you eliminated that, so now we need to go to the factors of 3 and 2. I'm going to put a plus 3 and a minus 2, and we'll hope that works. When I FOIL it, I get 3x squared. My outer terms give me a negative 6x. My inner terms give me a 3x. Will this be my 7x? Nope. So your 3 and your 2 are in the wrong spot. I'll leave the signs there, and I'll just switch my 3 and 2 and see if that works. Again, the more you do this, the more you're going to think about it before you actually start writing those numbers in, and you're going to find them a lot faster. But until you get super good at it, just do what you got to do to get the right answer. All right, here, it's all about those middle terms, combining them to get this negative 7x. Does this give me a negative 7x? Yes, it does. So we're happy that we have finally found the proper combination. If your sign would have been wrong and you got a positive 7x, all you would do is just flip your signs on your 2 and your 3. But these work, so leave it. And as with math, you know, this can get more difficult, so let's see what that's going to look like. Here I have numbers in front. The harder part now that I promised you was coming was I have several factors of 6. I have the 2 and the 3 and the 6 and the 1, but thankfully 7 only has one set of factors. And the 20, it has 3 sets of factors, the 1 and the 20, the 2 and the 10, and the 4 and the 5. So we're going to have to practice this. Now, if you feel like you want to give it a try, go ahead and pause the video and come back when you're done. If you're not comfy, let's go ahead and try this together. I'm going to use a 3x and a 2x, and I just totally guessed that. And then I'm going to do a 7 and a 1. My signs I know are going to be the same, thank goodness, so I can just start off doing that and see how I did. First term, 6x squared. So you can kind of start to see that maybe your first terms and your last terms aren't that important. So you can save yourself time by just looking at the inner terms and the outer terms, because they're the ones that decide. My inner term here is a 14x, and my outer term is a 3x. Will that get me a 23? Nope. So let's try switching the 7 and the 1. My inner terms give me a 2x. My outer terms, 21x. And when you add those together, there's your 23x. So you found your combination. Next example. Well, the happy part here is I'm going to have a 3 and a 1 for my last terms. That's not really hard to figure out. So I'm actually going to leave those there. And I can see that my signs are going to be the same, so I'm going to leave those there. And the ones I'm going to change around are my first terms. Getting that 20x squared, the right combination, to get me a 17 when I do my inners and outers. So you do know you're going to have an x here and an x there. I just need those numbers right in front of them. So let's just try our 4 and our 5. Totally guessing here. My first terms are going to work because I made them work, but it's my inners and outers. So here I'm going to have a 15x, and here I'm going to have a 4x. That is not going to give me 17. That gives me 19. So nope, not it. What if I switch my 5 and my 4? Let's check the inners and outers again. So my inners give me 12x and my outers give me 5x. Look, you found it, and that didn't take that long. 12x and 5x is that 17x, so you have found the right combination. I understand completely that this section can be challenging and kids don't like it, but it really is just a fun puzzle that you're figuring it out. You're following some of the rules and some of the shortcuts, so stick with it and you'll have no problem eventually.